Most cats don't do this to other cats. Adult cats in the wild don't casually rest a paw on each other. They groom each other, yes, they headbutt. But this deliberate, quiet placement of a paw, that's something different, something they built for you. And once you understand what's actually behind it, you'll never see that little touch the same way again. 1. The language they invented just for you. Here's something that gets lost in almost every conversation about cat behavior: meowing. Cats developed that almost entirely for humans. Adult cats in the wild are largely silent with each other. They communicate through scent, posture, slow blinks, tail position, almost never through sound. Meowing evolved because humans responded to it. It's a language your cat developed over thousands of years of living with us. The paw touch is doing something similar, but stranger. Because it's not a leftover behavior from the wild. It's not something cats do with other cats when they want something. When a cat places their paw on you and holds it there calm and deliberate, they are doing something they do almost nowhere else in their life. Seized with no other animal, in no other context. That specificity matters a lot. Think about what it means to communicate in a language you invented for one specific relationship. That's not habit. That's not instinct running on autopilot. That is your cat, having figured out over time that you respond to this and choosing to use it. Researchers who study cat-human communication describe this as social referencing. The cat actively reading you, adjusting their signal to what they know you understand and reaching out. Not demanding, not performing, just reaching. And of all the things they could do, meow, knock something over, stare at you from across the room, they chose this. The softest possible signal, the most intentional one. Drop a 1 in the comments if your cat has done this to you. I genuinely want to know how many of you recognized this the moment it happened. 2. They're reading you more carefully than you ever realized. The paw doesn't come first. That's the part most people miss. Before that little paw lands on your leg, your cat has already been watching you, probably for longer than you'd expect. Cats are extraordinary readers of body language. A 2015 study from the University of Lincoln found that cats track their owner's emotional state through a combination of facial expression, posture, and vocal tone. They're not just reacting to what you do, they're reading what you're about to do. So when you shift on the couch before standing up, when your breathing changes, when the tension in your legs shifts, your cat notices, and the paw often comes in response to those signals, not because they're hungry, because they clocked that something about you just changed and they're checking in. This is why the paw so often comes at unexpected moments. You're not calling them over, you're not making a sound, you've just gotten a little quieter, a little stiller, and suddenly, contact. What's happening at that moment is closer to attunement than affection, the kind of tuned-in awareness you'd expect from someone who loves you and pays attention. Someone who notices when you go somewhere in your head and reaches out without making a big deal of it. Your cat has been studying you, probably since the day they came home. Here's something even more specific about that paw, something about which paw they're using, that most owners never think to look at. We'll get to it in a second, and it genuinely changes how you interpret what they're doing. 3. The secret in which paw they choose. Here's the part that got me. Research from Queen's University Belfast found that roughly 75 to 80% of cats have a dominant paw, a preferred limb they use when the task matters. When the situation is high stakes or emotionally loaded, most cats reach with their dominant side. Dr. Deborah Wells, who led this research, found that female cats tend to favour their right paw and males lean left, but the preference itself is strong and consistent. Now think about what that means when your cat reaches for you. If they're extending their dominant paw, their most precise, most intentional limb, they're not just touching you, they're using their best tool for the moment, the hand they trust. You can actually test this at home. Hold a treat just out of reach for a few days and watch which paw consistently reaches first. Once you know which one that is, you'll have a new way to read every future paw touch. Because when that dominant paw comes to rest on you, unprompted, in a quiet moment, that's not an accident. That's your cat bringing their full intention to the gesture. Some cats don't have a strong preference, and if yours seems to switch freely, that's okay, and it doesn't mean the gesture means less. But for the ones who do have a dominant side, this adds a layer to what's already there. They're not just reaching out, they're reaching with their best hand. 4. What that touch does to their own body. This one surprised me when I first read it. When your cat was a kitten, blind, helpless, days old, they used their paws to press against their mother while nursing. This motion, which we now call kneading or making biscuits, wasn't just physical. It triggered oxytocin release. It signaled safety. It told their nervous system, I am somewhere good. I can let go. That association doesn't go away. It gets quieter as they grow, but it doesn't disappear. When your adult cat places their paw on you and lets it rest there, their nervous system is responding to the touch itself. The motion and the contact activate the same self-soothing pathways that formed in the first weeks of their life, not because they think you're their mother, but because that paw press is hardwired to mean safety, and right now, you're the source of it. This is why you'll often see it happen right before they close their eyes, or right before they curl up and go fully still. The touch isn't just communication outward, it's regulation inward. They're not just telling you something, they're using the contact to settle themselves down. You have become, to your cat, what their earliest comfort felt like. That's not a small thing. And here's the edge of it. You didn't have to earn that by being dramatic or performing. You earned it just by being there consistently over time, until safe started to feel like you. 5. The vulnerability it takes to reach. Cats are built for speed. Every part of their body is engineered around the ability to move instantly. Launch, dodge, disappear. 4 paws on the ground is their baseline. It's their ready state. It's how they stay prepared for anything the world might throw at them. When your cat lifts a paw and rests it on you, they have just reduced their escape capacity by 25%. That sounds clinical, but in the language of a prey and predator animal, it's enormous. They are choosing in that moment to be slightly less ready, slightly more exposed. A 2020 paper on interspecies touch behavior published in the journal Frontiers in Veterinary Science found that physical contact between animals, especially across species, functions as a mutual vulnerability signal. Both parties become slightly more open, slightly less defended. For prey animals with fast-twitch survival instincts, this is not a casual choice. Your cat is not thinking through this consciously, but the instincts are there, and they're reaching past them. What that means is simple. In the moment that paw lands on you, your cat has decided you are not a threat. Not just tolerated, actively safe. Safe enough to be a little less ready. Safe enough to stay. Not every cat reaches this level of ease with a person. Some cats live their whole lives in a low-grade state of alertness, even with people they like. So if yours has ever rested that paw on you without tension in their body, you've received something rare. 6. They didn't have to choose you, but they did. Go back to the beginning. Most cats don't do this with other cats. They groom each other. They sleep pressed together. But this particular gesture, quiet, deliberate, sustained contact with a resting paw. This is something that happens primarily in the space between a cat and a human they've decided to trust completely. A 2019 study led by Dr. Kristin Vitale at Oregon State University, published in Current Biology, found that 65% of cats form what researchers call a secure attachment bond with their owners. The same kind of bond measured in human infants and their mothers, and critically, unlike dogs, who were selectively bred over millennia for social bonding, cats were not. Cats domesticated themselves largely. And they continue to choose, every day, whether to bond or hold back. There's no evolutionary pressure forcing your cat to reach for you, no instinct demanding connection. If they've built a language with you, if they've invented a gesture they use almost nowhere else in their life and bring it to you, in a quiet moment, with their best hand relaxed enough to lower their guard, that is a choice. It's quiet. It doesn't ask for anything back. It's just contact. The next time that paw lands on you, you'll know. It's not just sweetness. It's not just habit. It's a small, deliberate act from an animal that didn't have to bond with you, in a species that didn't have to bond with us at all, and chose to anyway. That's everything. Right there in that one little paw.